Stand for the pledge for me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to have a moment of silence. Thank you. All right. We can go through roll call, please.
Ms. Ault. Here. Mr. Bodkins.
Here.
Ms. Durbin.
Here.
Dr. Fellner.
Here.
Ms. Frank.
Here.
Mr. Richard.
Here.
Ms. Ziegert.
Here.
Thank you. And elected officials.
Mayor Leary.
Here.
Auditor Satterfield.
Here.
Director of Law Palmer.
Here.
Treasurer Sparks. Safety Service Director Ward.
Here.
Right, and we have some minutes from the 27th, 28th, and 29th of December. We have to approve each of these individually, so could I get a motion to, I assume everybody's read over the minutes, and if somebody would approve
I'll make a motion to approve the December 27th.
all right, motion to approve the December 27th by Mr. Bodkin, seconded by Mrs. Ziegert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, December 28th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 28th,
All right.
special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes for December 28th by Ms. Frank, seconded by Ms. Durbin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have December 29th.
I'll make a motion
So-
to approve the special meeting minutes from December 29th.
All right, motion by Ms. Ault, seconded by Ms. Durbin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have a number of items that we need to add to tonight's agenda.
All of them.
Yep, it looks like everything started tonight,
Yeah.
so if I could get a motion to Dr. Feldman.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add ordinance 2023-1 to the agenda.
Motion to add 2023-1 to the agenda by Dr. Feldman, second by Ms. Durbin. Could I get roll call?
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegert.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, motion carried. Ms. Ault?
I'll make a motion to add ordinance number 2023-2 to the agenda.
Yeah, 2022 did you say 3 or 2?
2023-2.
2023-2 to the agenda by Ms. Ault, second by Ms. Frank? Yep. Okay, roll call?
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegert.
Yes.
All right, that was 2023-2. It's confusing, especially first of the year. Ms. Durbin?
I'd like to make a motion to put ordinance 2023-3 on the agenda.
2023-3 added to the agenda by Ms. Durbin, seconded by Mr. Richard. Roll call?
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegert.
Yes.
All right, that was 2022-3. Ms. Ziegert?
I'd like to make a motion to add resolution number 2023-1 to the agenda tonight.
Okay, motion by Ms. Ziegert, seconded by Ms. Durbin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard. Ms. Ziegert.
Yes.
Motion carried. And the last one is...
No,
No, there's one on that.
we have 2023-4 on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That was for one more, didn't it?
Ms. Ault.
I'll make a motion to add resolution number 2023-2 to the agenda.
Okay, motion by Ms. Ault, seconded by Mr. Bodkins. Roll call.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner.
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Ziegert.
Yes.
And then we have at the end ordinance 2023-4. Ms. Ziegert.
I will make a motion to add ordinance number 2023-4 to the agenda.
Question by Ms. Ziegert, seconded by Ms. Frank. Roll call.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. I just need,
Mr. President, is there a proposed executive session on the agenda that would need to be voted onto the agenda as well?
It does?
Yeah, it's an item of business.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I didn't know that, okay.
Yeah, but that's fine. It can be voted out of order, but it needs to be voted on.
okay. Dr. Feldman.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add item 9, executive session, to the agenda.
All right, thank you, Dr. Feldman. Seconded by Ms. Durbin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Alt,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yeah.
Ms. Ziegler.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Palmer.
Sure.
And I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Ms. Egan.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda tonight. The
Amended.
amended agenda, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve the amended agenda by Ms. Ziegler, second
I'll
by
second that
Dr.
motion.
Feldman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have the agenda set and approved.
What's ordinance number 2023-20 that's not on the agenda?
It's on the back side.
Yeah,
It's
expect
what?
It's after the executive session.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Sorry about that.
That's it, it slipped by me at first too.
Yeah.
No.
So the
Good question. Okay, that's what I wanted.
right, I don't have anyone addressing council today, but we do have a swearing in, so that's the next order of business.
I can remember, I recognize some people because I've known them a long time and others. How many years ago was this? You were up here?
6.
Just seems like yesterday, as they say, but it really is neat, huh?
It's flown by.
It is really neat. You know, came on patrol person, now you're being promoted. It's how it's supposed to work. And it doesn't work for everyone, but for you it has. So. Anyways, just to repeat after me. You ready, set? Raise your right hand. I, Andrew Ream, do solemnly swear
I, Andrew Ream, do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions of the United States
that I will support the constitutions of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will in all respects
and that I will in all respects
uphold and enforce
uphold and enforce
the provisions of the laws and ordinances of the city of Galion, Ohio.
the provisions of the laws and the ordinance of the city of Galion, Ohio,
That's great. And will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of lieutenant
and that I will faithfully discharge the positions and the duties of lieutenant
to which I've been appointed.
to which I've been appointed.
Congratulations. and thank you. The department here, right? Right, you gotta sign this, Andy. It's not official. So anyways, I want to recognize, I think council's been notified, but Ryan Strange has agreed to function as acting chief. I think as a technicality, he can't be sworn in as chief because he then would forfeit out of the lieutenant role, which I think he intends to reoccupy here in the not too distant future. But Joe's here and Brooklyn's here. Not working for once, you two, huh?
Yeah.
They picked up a lot of the slack while we've been trying to get this lieutenant in place. So, all right, you ready? The pinning. Last couple meetings we've had WMFD and don't have anything to show. Tonight we've got this. So go ahead and sticky. Yeah, that goes.
No speech.
Thank you. That's a good one.
Congratulations. You're welcome to stay as long as you like, or leave if you'd like as well.
See ya.
Andy must be working.
I think I'm gonna hear it.
See y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
No, But here's what I'm
That's the Harding Way West delegation, isn't it? McCarthy's little number. That's where Chris lives. Good for them.
All right, we're moving on to legislation now. So we have ordinance number 2023-1.
Alright. Ordinance number 2023-1, entitled Ordinance Authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and to enter into contracts with the lowest and best bidders, therefore, according to law, for the purchase of certain materials and equipment required and needed for the operation of the various departments of the City of Galion, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Urban?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and take ordinance number 2023-1 to the final reading.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Durbin, seconded by Dr. Feldman.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkin?
Yeah.
All right, motion carried. Very good. Dr. Feldman?
I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2023-1.
All right, motion passed, 2023-1 by Dr. Feldman, seconded by Ms. Durbin. All right, any further discussion?
Just to review, this is always our first ordinance of the year to allow the administration to get going with purchases and equipment and things like that to get the year rolling.
Right, thank you. All right, any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins?
Yeah. Motion carried. Ordinance 2023-2. I'm gonna pause before I say the 3 every time tonight, probably.
Ordinance number 2023-2, entitled Ordinance Clarifying Employee Benefits for Certain Non-Bargaining Unit Employees, repealing ordinance numbers 2008-54, 2008-25, 2011-17, 2013-46, 2014-28, 2016-117, and 2019-91 to the extent it conflicts with the provisions of this ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. You have any questions or discussion on this one?
Ms. Ward, could you kind of just summarize what this is?
It just provides the same benefits to non-union members as the unions which they supervise. So Chief Jackson will get the same benefits negotiated by your union and so on. As far as benefits for unions, clothing allowance, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Are these generally for department heads?
No,
Okay.
it would be department heads, it would, in department heads, you've got administrative clerks that Matt Eckenberry, for example, is a non-bargaining unit.
Okay.
Kim Powell or Kim Watson is a non-bargaining, Julie is a non-bargaining. And so it clarifies all those non-bargaining unit members. Depending upon what you choose to act, we have a payroll coming up next week that will actually take, by the union contracts, none of the raises took effect until this coming pay because the last pay period ended on the 31st. So all raises will take effect on this next pay. If you pass this now, we can include the non-bargaining unit members in their increases.
There's no
If
raises
not-
in here. This is just benefits.
This is
There's
benefits only.
no benefit. There's benefits only, no,
Benefits?
yeah, no raises.
Never mind, disregard, sure.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Dr. Feldman.
Well, as the heading indicates that this is action that's taken concurrently with union contracts every 3 years. And I think that I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and move ordinance 2023-2 to the final reading.
All right. Dr. Fellner, second by Ms. Frank. Roll call.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin.
Yes.
All right, motion carried to suspend the rules. Mr. Richard.
Unless there's any other comments or concerns, I'd like to make a motion, excuse me, to pass ordinance 2023-2.
Motion passed by Mr. Richards, second by Mr. Bodkins. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yeah.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Motion carried. The next ordinance is number 2023-3.
Ordinance number 2023-3, entitled Ordinance Amending Ordinance Number 2022-98, Permanent 2023 Appropriations by transferring and advancing funds in various funds and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Rick?
I have a question on section 3, Brian. It says it's to be repaid no later than July 1st, 2024. I thought it was 2023.
The Safer Grant money that we got last year, the $252,000, was we advanced that in 22, saying we paid it back in 23. We're doing the 23 allotment, saying 24, because we won't ask for the last stipend to be returned until after the final payroll of 23. So it gives us some time to recoup and get the money back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I think 2 is what Ms. Barnes is here from the Health Department. I don't know if there are any questions about that, but I think that's the transfer. It's in the budget. This actually allows that transfer to happen.
Is there any questions? Mr. Richard?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions before. Maybe Ms. Barnes could answer my question. There was a mention to, at a committee meeting level, and then I kind of paraphrased it at the council level. In your budgeting, I understand you have so much money left over that you utilize to the next year. That was expressed at the time. Nobody really knew a certain figure. One of my follow-up questions was, do you know what that figure ever is, or does it vary, or?
I think it varies, and I think we've had it because of the COVID grants that were granted to us over the past few years.
So it's not a continuous thing, excuse me.
It just depends on grants and expenditures. I'm not real sure. I think we have do you know?
I can answer a little bit of that. It's right around $200,000 is the ending balance in 230, I believe. I can tell you from looking at the budget that was proposed by Jason and Olivia sent me, that the health department budget, which includes this transfer, does not include that $200,000. It's the budget that they have proposed is the revenues and expenses they expect to get this year with the transfer from the city. The $200,000, that plus or minus, is still sitting there because there's no avenue, there's no method to be able to transfer that back at this point.
So there's no, the city has that under their name, or?
It's the health department. We transferred it to the city. We transferred it to the health department.
Okay.
There's no means, there's no mean or avenue to be able to transfer that back.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that it's not there and potentially able to be used as part of the budget. I don't know that, but that.
Was this a one-time thing, or has this been a cumulative?
It's cumulative.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna hold this up tonight or anything like this.
Can I ask you a question, Mike?
Sure.
You brought it up a couple of times. I just am wondering, do you think that it should stay in the health department, or are you just curious because you want to subtract that amount from this?
No, my only
400,000?
concern is we're inching slowly towards $500,000 for the health department, with 11 employees. And while I support the health department, I also am kind of concerned that while they're in a kind of a, their own little world, so to speak, I'll use that term, some of the discussion that they should have had with us folks here at the finance committee or such, namely, we're giving everybody a raise, was never discussed. It was automatically assumed that we would just go ahead and agree with that. While we may do that, my concern is there was no communication, and I feel we're getting into that world of it's expected. We budget whatever we're going to do, and council's just going to go ahead and rubber stamp whatever we send them as a request. I don't want to get us into that realm. When I first came on council, of course, Doc's been here much longer than I have, but we were looking at only $250,000. Now we're almost to $500,000. And while I know things have gone up and such, I just want to make sure this is public money, that we're keeping the adequate eye on it.
Yeah, I'm just curious why.
That's basically my biggest concern about that.
And, I mean, I guess to follow up with you, Mike, I mean, and I agree, when you look at it, is there negotiation for the different type of employees? I know that there's a nurse practitioner, there's a physician, there's nurses, there's staff. So is that what you're, like, what is the raise kind of protocol here? Or did, so you're saying that it wasn't discussed. Is there something that is it an annual raise that's giving that you didn't know about?
Not so much that. That's just a tip. As we were just mentioning with Brian, with the added funding that's in there. Okay. I just want to make sure that while I support, like I said before, I think that Galleon meets the health department. The issue becomes one when you start creeping up to $500,000 for something like this. I want to make sure that, not to belittle $250,000, but
I agree.
You know,
No, I agree.
I can tell you that it's not expected, and we discuss it with the board. We tried to make discussions early, and we were actually advised to ask for that amount because of the insurance costs going up so much.
Oh, I understand.
And,
Well, I mean,
and then our board approved our raises.
well, that's, yeah. No, and I understand that also. Again, that still doesn't necessarily preclude having a discussion with these folks around this table or the administration as to where that's heading to. I know part of the reason why you folks do the grants is to subsidize the cost of the health department overall. I see also in a sense of a issue where is that taking precedent over things we do here, and the reason why I say that is because when we do not have a Galleon health nurse out at the school, that kind of, to me, is like a signal. Now, and I understand may have been situations such and such, but it still signals to me that there's maybe something that we need to see.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make excuses, but we're really trying to get accredited. And I know we've been saying that forever, but our deadline's coming up in March or April of this year. So it's kind of taking away, plus our health commissioner leaving unexpectedly, like, when was that, March of 21. And then we were short-staffed. I know I'm making excuses, but
What is the accreditation that you're?
It's National Public Health Accreditation. It's actually required in the state of Ohio to remain a health department, so
Does the Crawford County Health Department?
they just got accredited.
Okay. And is the insurance, employee insurance is what you're talking about?
Mhm.
That, for them to have health insurance, that increased? The
We
insurance?
were under, what the city has.
Oh, okay, and all that increased, okay. Thank you.
And are the the health department employees, city and county employees, so they're covered under the Me Too stuff where they have to get the same raises and benefits? It's not really a decision?
No, but we've kind of operated that way in the past couple of years just because it's been a little bit chaotic. You know, we've just kind of operated that way because.
There's a little discussion about whether or not they could opt out. So we're gonna I went to the board meeting this afternoon before this meeting. I think that's something they're gonna look at.
And our board also advised us to go, try to get that school contract back, which
Right.
we're going to try to do.
There, when I first came on to council, there was discussions about trying to get a contract in place. Where are we at with that? Do we know?
With the school?
No, like with the city and
Oh.
the health department.
I would say there's been no progress, no identification of the issues. So it's not, huh?
How do we fix that or get moving forward on that?
Where we ended up the last time was that the law director represents the city of, and that as it relates to the lease, utilities, those kinds of things, that they hired a lawyer who now is in Louisiana or someplace. Isn't that who they hired?
Somewhere down south, yeah.
So that's where that stopped. The lawyer for the health board left the community. There's been no resolution. It is an important issue, but it ends up being a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning issue. It just falls to the bottom of the agenda. But the other thing I wanted to say about this is that the best way for me to look at this ordinance is it passes tonight, or when it does pass, you'll see in that 230 fund balance, you'll see it go from about 200,000 roughly to 600,000. That's the key thing to monitor this year, Michael, and everybody else. It's like, at what, are they sitting on, not $500,000, or are they operating kind of close to zero cash balance? Those two issues combined, what I think we should really try to do is negotiate an agreement that identifies what excess county, what excess city general fund revenue, where that goes. A lot like the Safer Fund operates in the same ordinance. That we'll advance that money in, we'll transfer it in or advance it in, and then bring it back if you don't need it. That's what I think. I'm not sure what the health board would think of that. We'll have to have that discussion. But
Didn't Jason mention something like that recently at one of our meetings, saying
yeah,
that
the last meeting we talked about that.
something wasn't spent at the end of the year, it would come back through? And Brian, you mentioned that there's not an avenue for that.
No,
yet.
we don't have a mechanism to do that.
There's no agreement between the health department and the city.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Hall?
And I think too, whenever we've talked about it before I was on city council, I served on the health board for a number of years. So I've been having these discussions for 5 years now. My recollection, even whenever the board got an attorney to discuss the issues with Palmer, was that returning money to the general fund without strict bookkeeping of it, you can't really send back Medicaid dollars, Medicare dollars that you bill for, grant dollars. It's micro accounting to know what pieces and parts you're sending back. And as far as the leases and the utilities, and the attorney that represented the health board found ordinances that showed that the city had to provide those things. I think it is a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning thing because it's complicated. It's not like cut and dry. Like well, you have to, because even rent and telephone and all that stuff was addressed and looked at then. I don't know if those opinions have changed, but it's been a discussion for many years as far as I know. And returning the money to the general fund was never a simple way to look at it because of all of the, if Anthem paid so much money for a shot, does that really belong to the general fund or does that belong to the health department?
Right,
That's always
that
been-
makes sense.
That's always been my understanding of the trouble. But I see where everyone's coming from.
Well, what is the cost of the accreditation?
Well, we pay each year, ever since we've started trying to get accredited, like 5,000 or 6,000.
Oh, okay.
And then that's just to the national, but we have other costs, like with community health assessments and
I guess,
coalitions that we.
well, I guess in preparation for an accreditation, you have to have certain things in place, and would that be part of the reason for the higher?
It wouldn't be, no, that would be a cost, I don't think. There's not
No.
that, they're at the tail end of that, of the whole accreditation process. But
Right.
we've spent some money on that over the last 3 years or
Oh,
so.
okay.
I think a lot of
That's
it too
right.
was, there was a really go-getter, strong health commissioner that was after grants every day, that worked
Right.
a huge amount of hours, that busted her tail to do it. And then she quit, and then there's a vacancy for like 8 months, and then they got somebody who doesn't have any background in this. So I think that right now, from an outside view looking in, it's just a lot of transition and learning, because like Trish was the old health commissioner and she got huge amounts of grants. She applied for every grant that was ever out there. She would write huge numbers of proposals all the time, submitting them. And I don't know if that's going on now. So I think that some of those grants are expiring, and the school contract, because of relational things or whatever happened, I think is now just all coming to a head. So I do agree, it's something to keep an eye on with the money, but it's a tricky situation.
Doc, did you have something?
No, it's all right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that there, in one of the committee meetings, I think Mr. Richard, what is concerned, one of the questions, I think it was brought up at that time, maybe it wasn't Mr. Richard, I shouldn't speak for that, but was we're allocating $423,000 for next year, but there's $200,000 that's there. So do you need $423,000 or do you need $600,000 to operate next year? And I don't know that we ever got that
I
answer.
think they need 423 to operate, but there is no mechanism for us to claw back the 200,000. So my advice is just to keep track of it.
Yeah.
We get to the middle of it, excuse me, we get to the middle of next year or this year, and they're at over $500,000 in that fund balance, then we know that they probably got more money in their general fund, not the cities, but in that 230 fund, then they'll probably need.
Why would you not approve $223,000?
But that's not how the budget was passed. That's all I mean, that's the best answer. I don't know.
Well, I think, I don't know numbers on past performance. I think the number you stated is low. You know, what their expenditures are for a year. I mean, if we go back to budgets 2021, well, 2021, were ridiculous. But, prior to that, we can see, what the trend was. So I don't know that having the allocation is, I think that's the knee-jerk reaction, just do simple subtraction. I also think it was easier before there was a 230 line. I mean, when the monies were commingled into the general fund and we sort of allocated from our general fund, I think it was easier. When we were forced to make a 230 budget line, that complicated matters further, with the other things. So I think it's a good 23 goal to, just get some information, not just sharpen pencils and cut, but, let's go get some numbers and, make a decision like the mayor says, middle of the year, let's take a look at it.
Well,
So that we can be, ready for the 24 budget.
And I agree
what I'm thinking of already.
I agree with you, Doc. That's part of why I had these questions, to get the conversation started.
Sure.
At the very least. Because I think that this is, again, I think that it's very important that we do have a health department for our community. I think that, because I know at one time there was a discussion to try to work with the county to meld into them, but I think that doesn't, to be honest with you, giving past history of some relationships, I think that's not a good idea. I think for the benefit of the community and our citizens, to have our own health department is preferable.
Ms. Frank?
When do we renegotiate the school contract? When does that come up?
I spent a lot of time talking about that tonight. I think they got the message to begin the legwork. The legwork, I think, starts with school board. And so I don't think the impact, it's my opinion, the impact of them dropping the contract on the city health department wasn't considered by the board at all. It was just that transaction. And as I've said before, the funny, not ha-ha funny, but one of the reasons that we have a nursing staff is to be able to handle all the immunizations that come from, you got it, those pesky 5 and 6 year olds wanting to go to school. So when they cut our nursing staff, we don't have the ability to carry that in, outside of, so we only need them July and August. If you think about it, it's probably been on. Anybody done that lately? Done the preschool thing? There's a whole battery of stuff. Almost everyone gets sent to the health department. I suppose you can get a shot in the doctor's office. They don't do that. So anyways, I think that's, without getting too far into it, I think that was the big mistake in them dropping the city health department. And I would go back and say, look, the city and the schools have to work together. We're serving the same customers.
Don't you, the health department also provide the school nurse, or we used to?
That's what
That is what we're talking about.
Okay. That's what I
And yes,
thought.
we did, and since we got into it, a little into the weeds, we don't have to. There's a certain requirement under this state minimal services. School nursing isn't one of those. We've decided in Galleon it had been important to us. We thought it was, still think it's important to the school district. May not be important to some of the administrators. Apparently isn't.
Is there a school nurse now?
Yeah, they hired.
They hired
yes,
someone separately, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I.
through the county health
County
department.
health.
Through the county, okay.
So it's hard not to get into discussion without getting out a couple mud balls and throwing them, because I thought it was, I still think it is. I've been outspoken about it, trying to draw flack from the schools. Like, why are you doing that? Why did you do that? Somebody on Pierce Street, a mom on Pierce, let's pick Rosewood, my neighbor. Okay, mom goes, she needs to get the kid ready to go to school. Could go to Bucyrus to get the shots over there, like my foot. So when we had the nursing school nurse, we kept on all year, and they were real valuable in the summer, not just for the kindergarten, pre-K, I think is when you get those shots. Anybody know? You might not.
I believe, it's been a couple of years, my daughter's in 2nd grade now.
Yeah. And then in 13, they got to get a bunch more in that case.
There's some
Andy.
7th grade one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7th grade, and then there's some that they get in 11th grade, I believe, right
Yeah.
before their senior year.
Yeah.
Just been really hard. It will be, so long as we don't have the school contracts, it will be really hard to do that. To continue having somebody there so that
Because
all
that
the
school
kindergarten.
contract, like, helped pay for that extra nurse through the summer months, even though the
Yeah, we don't-
contract is only for, it just did.
And then, right, and then they bill mommy and daddy's insurance.
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith's insurance, they bill, and that's how they that's how the cash comes in to cover that payroll during the summer. It,
Isn't there a
School-
lot of uninsured?
Huh?
That we cover, what about all the?
not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. The I don't mean to be a smart aleck, but
Medicaid.
every mom goes to
Medicaid.
Medicaid during
That's what I
pregnancy
thought.
and gets the baby covered, baby and mommy.
Okay.
Oh well, so that's the answer. I think city government didn't do enough of a job to point out to the citizens what happens when you cut the school nursing contract. It's not just like for bread, for toilet paper. There's a relationship between the two. So, all right.
I think we covered section 2 and 3 pretty well. Section 4 was the one that we hadn't covered. It looks like it's $40,000 from the general fund to the grant fire.
So the SAFER grant, the employees that are covered out of the SAFER grant are in the 215 line. The budget for them, some of the expenses that they incur are not covered by the SAFER grant. So the cost of those 3 employees, those 3 firefighters, is roughly $300,000, of which we will recoup $262,000, but we're not going to split their benefits and salaries into the general fund or the 103 or 104 lines. So we're going to transfer the money into the 215 to cover that. So the budget for 215 is around $300,000. We're going to get $260,000 back. Our cost for those employees is about $40,000, roughly. That's why there's a need for an additional transfer.
That makes sense. Does anybody have any other questions on this? Is there, this probably needs done. Does this need done?
Yeah, Andy put in a bunch of time. He's put up in the bunch.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richard.
Yes, as I said, I didn't hold this up. It's very important for everything that's on here. So having said that, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and move ordinance 2023-3 to the final reading.
All right, motion made by Mr. Richard, second by Mr. Bodkins. Roll call, please.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Motion carried to suspend the rules, move to final reading. Ms. Seeger.
If there's no further discussion, I'd like to pass ordinance 2023-3.
All right, motion passed by Ms. Seeger. Second by Mr. Richard. Do we have any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Alt,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 2023-1.
Resolution number 2023-1, entitled Resolution Approving and Ratifying the Prior Acts of the Department Heads and Safety Service Director, and approving then and now certificates for said expenditures and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Satterfield?
Try my best. The 21,164 was for a body armor grant. I believe it was for the SRT body armor that was out there. They had to get. There was a grant through the Attorney General's office. I think it was 75-25 or something like that. But bottom line is that Ryan was able to find the invoice for that. They've already gotten the vest and hadn't been paid. We need to do that. There was no purchase order cut for that. Section 2, I will tell you that as much work as we did last week to finish up the budget and try to get all the numbers together, we still were, there was an error someplace. We didn't have quite enough money on the insurance line. So we couldn't cut a PO because there wasn't enough money, and I can't tell you exactly where it was. And it wasn't huge amounts, but it was enough that it would have set things into a negative. We did not do that. We just need to get the then amount to pay that health insurance. Is the January payment, I believe. I don't know the pay both of those bills.
So do we have any questions on those? That's all?
So, in section 2, there's just a missing 206,000.
It's not a missing 206,000. We had the vast majority of that money, but I can't tell you exactly where it was or how much it was. It was less than $10,000, probably less than $5,000, but it was enough that we couldn't encumber the money because it wasn't there to encumber. So the extra meeting that we had last Thursday that I thought was going to fix the problem, almost fixed the problem.
But a couple people switch off, I think
Yeah,
that's part of it.
just,
You know, existing employees decided to pick up a dependent, I know in one case. And, you know, we did, as you're putting together the budget, you kind of anticipate everybody staying at single plus one or family or whatever. We had a few people add coverages. That was what is really what part of that was. So, anyway, some sort of record, but not especially, you know, it's like striking out your first time up all
I can
year.
assure you that we weren't $200,000 short.
Okay.
Okay?
That doesn't like a
I
lot.
can assure you that was it.
That's a lot of insurance.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm not reaping any of the dental premium benefits, I just want to. Should anyone cast aspersions. I would like to make a motion to pass resolution 2023-1, however.
All right, Dr. Feldman. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Okay, you haven't done
We have to
suspension
suspend the
rules.
rules first there.
That's what I meant to say, I'm sorry, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rule on resolution 2023-1.
Motion to suspend the rules by Dr. Feldman, seconded by Ms. Ziegler. Roll call, please.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins,
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules carried. Mrs. Frank?
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 2023-1.
Motion passed, resolution 2023-1 by Ms. Frank, second by Mr. Bodkins. Any further discussion on this one? Roll call, please.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins.
Yes.
Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The next resolution is number 2023-2.
Resolution number 2023-2, entitled "A Resolution Approving the Appointment of Michael Flick to the Gallion City Health Board as appointed by the mayor and declaring an emergency."
I want to, if I could, Mr. President, I want to apologize to Carrie that we didn't run that through the committee. There are two vacancies. There are two vacancies as of about an hour ago because Dennis Sterling served through this meeting today. And so we lost Miss Wiltenthaler and now Dennis. So that they're really going to have trouble getting the quorum together. So I didn't want to wait till the end of the month and miss anything in the health department. Mr. Flick, I've known him since I was just a little kid. Definitely in the community. He owns a business in town, although he's not a Gallion resident. So we're hoping that I think that meets qualifications. And so he sent a letter expressing his interest, and that's where we came up with the name.
So there'll still be one vacancy?
Yes, there will. And I'll bring that one to you, and it has been really a challenge to find people. We've had more turnover in the health board than probably any of the other boards. So if somebody's got someone who, somebody that's in mind that would do a good job, we would really entertain that. So by appointing this person will be one down instead of two down, and we'll certainly be able to get a quorum more readily.
Does anybody have any? Mr. Richard?
The only thing I would say is that my hat's off to Mr. Flick, because anybody that wants to serve on any board in the community is always does more, and that's more people are able to enjoy different things that the health board and various other boards contribute to the community. And having said that, terribly not really, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules on resolution 2023-2 and move it to the final reading.
All right, thank you, Mr. Richard. Do I have a second? Ms. Ault? Roll call, please.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ault?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins?
Yes.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Motion carried to suspend the rules. Ms. Ault?
I'll make that motion to pass ordinance resolution 2023-2.
Pass ordinance by Ms. Ault, second by Ms. Frank. I think I'll hand up first. Any further discussion?
Is this Gary's brother?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yep. He's one of the owners of Magnolia.
Right, okay, I just clarification.
Yes, he is.
Roll call?
Ms. Ault?
Yes.
Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins?
Yes.
Ms. Durbin?
Yes.
Dr. Fellner?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right. Other business?
It'll come after.
After.
The executive session.
So this is probably going to cause an issue tonight or cause somebody to get it up, or I don't know, but I've had some phone calls over this podcast that the mayor did, and people are pretty mad about these water sewer rates going up this year, saying that we just passed a budget, this should have been in the budget, why was this not in the budget? And these people want answers as to why their water and sewer rates might be going up this year when the water treatment plan is not fixed, and they want that done first. So I just thought I'd mention this and see what answers we can get out there since we're live tonight to these people, since they're giving me phone calls.
They can come to the Utilities Committee meeting. It's the first Wednesday of every month, and discuss that during that time. And the chairperson and Ms. Durbin and Mike are also, are you on there? Yes. The three of us are on that committee, and we'd be happy to discuss that during the Utilities Committee.
And also, it was, while it wasn't included in the budget, there was a discussion almost every session regarding the budget, that was a possibility. So while they may, it may have seemed like it came as a surprise, it was in there. You know, it doesn't put salve on the burn or anything like that, but it wasn't completely cold.
And again, what happens is people extrapolate what they want to extrapolate. And again, I was going to say that anybody could come to the meetings when we're discussing that, the utility meeting. And we've certainly, I know it has certainly been encouraged lots of times, many times, for the concerned citizens to come and, you know, talk about their concerns and you know, discuss it with council or at the meetings, so.
But that's also one thing like us to bring in here too. We're elected officials, we're responsible to the citizens, and the citizens call us, and it's our responsibility to bring it before the council.
So anytime that they call me, I tell them, and I'll mention it, just like I had someone call me about some alleys that have potholes, which I mentioned to Ken since he's chairman of that board, so we're,
Potholes.
I've been getting some pothole calls. Winter's not over yet, that will be discussed, winter's not over yet, we can't do anything while winter's going.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't agree with that, if I may just jump in here. On the pothole patching, you get a decent day where there's a little bit of sunshine, they'll be out there with the cold patch.
Okay,
So
well,
it's worth noting that that stuff is more expensive than the stuff you get that you put down hot mix. It's really funny. But go
Clymer
ahead.
and Fraser Court, 420 Clymer and Fraser Court is the phone call that I received about the potholes.
Fraser Court, I don't know where that is.
So Clymer's runs between
I know where it is.
Grand and,
Yeah.
I looked it up today, but Clymer is,
Oh,
or
oh.
Fraser Court is the dead end if you're turning off of Clymer. It's,
Away from
Oh,
the
okay.
hospital.
yes.
All right. You're gonna run into that with potholes gonna pop up. On the first issue, I can remember saying this 2 or 3 times. I think I would echo what Missy said about people, I didn't say this exactly, but it's like they hear what they want to hear. I don't know how many times I said, at least 3 times. Every meeting we had discussing the budget, I talked about the water and sewer fund. The budget you passed there'll be cash in 601 and 603 at the end of this year. But it will be a frighteningly small carryover balance. So if council on the sewer side wants to run that down to, till the gas gauge light comes on, that's going to be your decision. 2 years ago, we did that. The utility committee would not raise sewer rates. Last year, we spent half a year fiddling over whether it should be a quarter or 12.5 cents. Okay, we wasted about 4 months till we decided, and then we raised it only enough that, as it turned out, cover those retirements. So it's not, I know people call you and they have their understanding of it, like you said, but every time we talked about it, you all have to acknowledge that we said that if you don't raise rates, you're going to do major damage to the fund balance. And that's a big issue to us. It's also, turns out to be kind of a big issue to part of the EPA that keeps an eye on us, that regulates us. They want to make sure that our operating funds are in balance with our revenues, in balance with our expenses. So, last thing I'd say about it is water rates are going to get adjusted. We don't know where. I think it's best if they're adjusted in conversation with the utility committee, because I think it does well if one has to go up that we raise the other same amount. But I don't know who called you. I don't want to argue that this remote third party, but the idea that we would make $2 million worth of improvements to the water plant and then raise your rates, I hope that person that's giving you that advice isn't going to run for office. That isn't the way you do it. You got to raise the money in order to fund these big capital expenses. I'm sure everybody also said that we looked out for about $1.6, $1.7 million of ARPA funds that we're putting into the water plant. That's more than we collect in a year. So that's a pretty significant. People are upset about how they might go up, but without those federal funds, we'd be in a much difficult situation, much more difficult situation. So I don't know. I'm not upset with you, Carrie. You got to do that. You got to call. But we have to, as it often said, you have to run these enterprise funds like a business. Yep. One more thing. The other thing I said to y'all multiple times is we have a general fund cash balance. This is what's caused one of the council members who's a commenter, he's probably on there right now, going to comment on this, that we could take money from the general fund and cushion, or if you want to eliminate any water sewer rate increase by transferring those general fund surpluses in there. I think that's that can become a pretty bad habit to get into. That will the reason we have a general fund balance is we've been pretty frugal, pretty prudent in spending it. I don't want to turn around and because certain people don't want to pay the cost of providing water or sewer service. They want somebody else to pay for it. They don't want the rates to cover our expenses, that we draw down the general fund balance. I don't think that's, I think we have to find a middle ground in between, so. Anyways, I'm glad they're calling you that we have not been called that much. And so that's all I would say.
I was thinking about this the other day while I was driving, about Experience County and giving their notice and not doing the bed tax funds anymore. What's the plan for that now? Like, is half that money has to go to tourism, right?
Right.
Is that Economic Development Committee, or is that?
No, it piles up and it can't be, we would have to redesignate, I'll look over the law argument, we'd have to redesignate another convention and visitors bureau.
That's correct.
And then half of those bed tax dollars would go to that group. The other half would continue to go into the general fund.
So does someone need to work on doing that? Finding somebody?
Yeah, but that process is on the exterior of us.
Okay.
You know, that's a nonprofit that needs to form and do that kind of work. And until that happens, there were many years before Experience Galleon when that just started to accumulate and just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. It will still be there.
Okay.
It really grew at a real slow pace until that god-awful sleep-in came to town. All those devilish people that were behind bringing that to town. But we won't get sarcastic.
Okay, so it's not something to be anxious about.
No, I mean, I think there's plenty of things we can do with it, and there are some initiatives that I'm not personally involved in, but city will have a rep. They're looking at doing some things with downtown that would be legitimate expenditures to generate more travel and tourism. So, it's different. Anyways, so I know what you're saying, Carrie. Nobody wants to raise rates. Probably the biggest mistake I made since I was mayor was to push at Melinda Miller back in the day to allow us to lower the rates. That got a big... The people who are calling you complaining about us never said a thing about, hey, that's really cool, they lowered my water and sewer rates by this much. They didn't say a word. Anyways, it's a cool thing about a free country. You can call and...
That's right.
Do they have any program for credits for water-saving devices in your home?
No.
Low flushing toilets, whatever the case may be?
No, the credit just comes in your lower consumption, but no, we don't.
All right. Any other business?
Yeah, I want to say one more thing about that. I get a big kick out of that. I'd like to, same thing happened, sorry, same thing happened when I got that groin shot a couple months ago. Here he goes again, groin shot's I'll probably get canceled over that. When I made a comment at a committee meeting, and 10 days later when I was overseas, it shows up in that same rag publication. What a joke that is. So all of a sudden the community spotlight that 12 people listened to now generates all this stuff. It's really kind of funny. It reminds me of the Boost Mobile, that you probably saw that over the weekend. You ought to just, you can't, we won't show you the bill, but it's really, there was multiple effort, to get off on a tangent, sorry. One would read that article, put in there on a Friday so it's there all weekend. I think that's pretty funny. They think they're funny, and it's like, get out of here. That almost makes me want to stay at this another 40 years. Walk on there. But anyway, we made multiple attempts, city staff made multiple attempts to talk to that person, and the person wasn't there for those things. When you look at the bill, it's clearly an air-conditioned bill. It's clearly an air-conditioned bill. The most recent bill they had there really wouldn't even be a large residential bill. But you wouldn't see that the way that Crawford County now chooses to cover the city of, the mayor of, I think the whole community. I think it's
it's pretty obvious, you know, what their game is. You open up a beauty salon in some place and that's news, but anything that happens here, that's not news. So,
All right, we do have,
I'm sorry about that, Karen. I just
try to be honest when I tell them I'll say something.
Yeah,
I
you
try to
do.
say something.
And we won't be able to get out from under it. That's utility revenues matched against our costs. You're gonna stare us in the face for the whole darn year, the rest of our terms of office. So, oh well.
we have quite a few committee meetings left in January. I don't know if somebody would like to go first. Mr. Bodkins.
The 12th, this Thursday at 6:30 Street.
All right, thank you. Who else would, I think
The
it's,
economic, or no, tomorrow is,
Yeah, I've already said it's tomorrow at 7
Oh.
p.m. here.
all right. Economic development, January 17th.
yep, okay, thank you,
Finance on the 18th.
thank you.
County and Police, Fire, and Health is the 19th.
Very good. And we have another council meeting on the 24th. That wraps up January. Does anybody have anything else? In other business? Mr. Satterfield?
Thank you. I don't have anything to hand out to you today because 2023 is not open and 2022 is not closed. I can tell you should have received emails. We made significant progress last week with our state representative, which is April Amons. Those that have worked here for a while. April used to work here. January, February, and March are reconciled, balanced, and closed. Right about 3:30 today, we finished up April. Did not get it completely closed, and we are starting on May. We are trying to stay ahead of April, and when she gets the next couple months done, as the plan was, that I'm going to be sitting and shadowing and then kind of changing chairs with her and learning how to do this and making sure it's done. So that when they leave, we have about 9 working days left with her. So 9 working days and 2/3 of the year. We're working on it. But the decision had to be made what we were going to do and not do. And right now that is taking precedence. We're trying desperately to get 23 open. We understand the ramifications of not being able to get purchase orders and all that stuff, but something has to give. And right now, with the money that we're spending and the need to get 22 reconciled, that is the priority.
How's your new staff person doing?
Okay.
Okay?
It's brutal honesty. We brought her in at the most inopportune time we could possibly bring her in.
Yeah.
We brought her in with our hair on fire and trying to get 22 closed and get bills paid. And it's been difficult to take the time to train. She's been shadowing me the last few days because Eunice is working on the accounts payable side, and I'm trying to teach her revenue and payroll, and we've got year-end reports, and everybody's gonna want a W-2 at some point in time before too long. And
she keeps coming.
She's showing up to
She
work.
keeps showing up to work, even though all of that, so that's good, okay.
So, yeah, that's why I don't have a report for you, and I'm not gonna give you a piece of paper that shows zeros across the board, so.
She does seem to have a good attitude, though. She's very,
That's important.
yeah. I haven't seen her running and crying.
The good news is that everyone will get paid again in 2 weeks, whether 23 is open or not, because we'll take everything back to the first of the year. So it's not that we don't have money, it's just the budget's not in. So.
Mr. Palmer?
Before you have my annual report. It's amazing for me to think about this, but that's the 10th annual time I've done this. But same kind of thing every year. The one part that I think is kind of interesting is that there is, I included 2015 and last year's statistics for the Crawford County Municipal Court. So you can see the decrease in the caseload here in Galleon for the Crawford County Municipal Court. Now, of course, with the change that my office did to have the county prosecutor do the prosecuting work, we had substantial reductions in the expenses for that, so there's a corresponding decrease in expenses. But this municipal court is not as busy as it used to be, and I think there's multiple reasons for that. I also wanted to point out that Jim Scott, who's the Victims of Crime advocate, shared the information about the current year Victim of Crime program and the assistance that he has provided in terms of not only the numbers, but the kinds of work that he's been involved with. There is also another legal matter, which I have the good fortune to talk to you about during executive session. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mayor?
I only want to go back to what Brian said, that his approach is, I think I'm absolutely supportive of it. We're going to have to get 22. It'd be ideal to have the budget up and running. But I think the priority that he's placed on that's the correct one, and will get us kind of back to square zero or back to even as quickly and in a better fashion. So I just wanted to echo that. It's a tough road, but I think they're pursuing it correctly.
Thank you. Right, next area of business is executive session. If someone would like to make that motion. Ms. Seeger?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session pending or imminent court action.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Seeger. Motion made by Ms. Seeger, second by Mr. Bodkins. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Bodkins, Ms. Durbin,
Yes.
Dr. Fellner,
Yes.
Ms. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Ault.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-11.
Do you want to stick in on, do you want Nikki and I in here?
Oh, I absolutely.
Okay.